Hey folks, Dr. Stavers here, and welcome to the first showing of Z Nation. You're probably wondering what Z Nation is. It's basically to go and help prepare you for the zombie attacks. And come on, let's face it, zombies are going to eventually come. So the question is, are you going to be ready for them? Well, if you watch plenty of these videos, I'm sure you'll be ready. Well, to basically start off, we're going to go and first talk about what exactly is a zombie. Well, zombies are basically reanimated flesh. They basically show cannibalistic forms, but they don't just eat humans. They also go and eat dogs, cats, birds, pretty much anything that moves besides themselves. They have very poor eyesight. It's basically like looking through a very thin layer of glass of milk. Is just everything's just basically shapes and blobs. That's all that it really is to them. And they basically gauge by smell, by sound, by feeling, as well as basically movement. So that's basically what zombies are. You really don't want to mess around with them too much. It just gets very messy. You basically want to try to avoid them as much as you can, but let's face fact, you're eventually going to run into them. So to go and help prepare you, we're going to go ahead and discuss weapons of choice. Well, I know what immediately people are thinking. Oh, zombies are attacking. What should we go and get? Something big and bad, something explosive, something that pretty much will seem like automatic, you know, something that'll just, and you don't have to worry about it. Or basically, they want something with more of a kick. Yeah, seemed like a good idea at the time, but unless you really are good with these things, it's a waste of ammunition. It's not worth it. I mean, you're talking about throwing about 600 bullets at one creature, and you just need one to really put it down. Okay? For new timers and stuff, I would actually recommend pellet shotguns. I mean, it doesn't take too much to go and aim for, but it will go and get the job done. Okay? But it will get the job done. I mean, yeah, there's other types of shotguns. There's the pump action. There's the double barrel actions. I mean, yeah, those will work great. These are great for, especially if they get real close at you. Otherwise, you want a longer range type rifle. Never, ever count out the classics. I mean, a nice lever action type that's just real simple to go and use. Something that definitely go and make sure to put them down. That's what you basically want. If you really become more of an expert on these things to where you're able to go and perform headshots and things like that, I would recommend more of a Desert Eagle style. I mean, it just takes one quick shot and you basically have the problem solved. But of course, everybody can't find Desert Eagles. Yeah, those things have a big kick. I also recommend the 9mm handgun. I mean, that's definitely for more experienced individuals. Like I said, I mean, if it's for a person who basically has no problem with headshots, and pretty much can take down anything that moves. But eventually, let's face facts, ammunition for these types of weapons, they do become more valuable and they become hard to find. So yeah, I kind of recommend more versatile type items. Crowbars are a great source of weaponry, so is bows and arrows. Bows and arrows is kind of iffy. That's more of your definitely a sure shot type person. A person who basically goes hunting a lot or it basically practices with it a lot. Machetes, swords, axes, those work great. Axes is usually good for hard chops. Machetes good for more quick actions. Short swords are great for closer combat. Long swords, that's kind of iffy, you know, because the long sword's a little bit more heavier. It tends to get a little bit hard to swing, and it'll just wear you out. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to go and talk about is basically clothings. Yeah. Clothings, believe it or not, is actually very important. Okay? Loose fitting clothes like my lab coat right here is actually no good. Because it's something that hangs a lot. They could easily just grab a hold of it, yank it to the ground, and then you're basically food. So get rid of that. Another thing that's basically you want to go and wear for is basically light clothes, but something that can actually cover your body. Okay, something a little bit tough. Leather. A lot of people say, yeah, that's a great idea. We can use leather. Leather would be great because it's hard material. But you gotta remember, if you're on the run, you're gonna be running into that leather. It's gonna get very hot. So keep wearing something that's kind of tight fitting but loose, able to breathe. You'll be good. Another thing, hair. I know what you're thinking. Well, I like my hair. It makes me look good. I look like Fabio. Whatever. It's bad because they can really easily get a hold of it. Yep. It hurts. That's the one thing you don't want to have. I recommend go with the crew cut. Shave it down. That way, they can't go up and grab a hold of you, and then you're basically screwed. Footwears, I recommend hardened boots because eventually, after the cities start getting destroyed, there's gonna be a lot of broken glass and things like that. Anything that's steel-toed, hard boot. If you're able to find a military warehouse type place, grab some military boots. Those work great. Jewelries, things like watches. Gotta go. Can't have them. Basically, they can get caught too easily. You go running around a corner or something, and it gets caught up on a little branch or something like that. You get stuck real easily. They catch you real good, and that's it. You're zombie chow, buddy. Yep. I know some people are thinking, oh, well, what about things like hats or helmets? Those are actually good questions. Hats, besides it making me kind of look good here, you know, I don't know. I have to say it's kind of good because it'll help keep the sweat off of your eyes, so that's one good side. Headbands, that'll work even better. Helmets is real iffy. If nothing, I almost want to say try getting like a skateboard helmet. Not a bicycle helmet, not like a police riot shield or anything like that. Because you gotta, a motorcycle helmet, that's kind of iffy too. You gotta remember, you're gonna be wearing these things, it's gonna be hard to breathe. Try imagining running down the street wearing a whole face mask, motorcycle helmet, going about like a mile run in one of those things. It's not gonna work. So I recommend bicycle helmets because it'll give nice full coverage over here. Maybe you'll be able to wear a bandana across your face if you really want to go and take care of that type of thing or whatever, you know. Now here's one thing that a lot of people I have been asked so many times about. What about those tech vests? You know, one of those vests that can hold a whole lot of ammunitions and tools and kits and stuff like that. I, in all honesty, say that I would not really go for one. Unless you are planning to go full war on these things, but basically there's two reasons why I would recommend not really having these. One is because it's going to be very heavy equipment. They are actually adding about an extra 30 to 35 pounds of weight on you that you're going to be having to basically lug around. Another reason is because of other raiders, other survivors. When these people go and see you, who has actually been out trying to survive and everything, they see you walking down the street. You're covered in ammunitions, weapons, and all these tools and stuff like that. You know what they're immediately going to say? Well, if that guy has all this stuff, apparently he knows what he's doing. I'm thinking I'm just going to go over there and shoot him in the head, take his stuff. It pretty much makes you a human target, as well as a zombie target. So, tech vests, I personally would not recommend having them unless you're going on very long trips where you know that you're going to need a lot of ammunition. Then yeah, I say go for it. But that's what I would say. Bulletproof vests really serves no purposes except for unless some butthead tries to go and shoot you. But I mean, if they're trying to shoot you, I don't think they'd really be aiming for your chest or anything. I think they'd be aiming up here. Now, here's some of the things you have to actually be worried about besides zombies, believe it or not. One is the military. Sure, they may seem like, oh yeah, we're here to help you and stuff. 90% of those military guys, I guarantee you, is basically guys who had left the army, is on the run, is not under anybody's command or anything. They're just out to survive. So if you have anything that's of value to them, such as basically weapons, water, food, gas, vehicles, electricity, batteries, safe place, they'll go and show up saying, hello, we're here to go and save you and make sure you're okay. The moment they open the door, boom, right in the face. Yeah. So kind of be wary of military. Usually they will go and travel in small groups, usually in about like 3 or 4 people on average, give or take. So yeah, unless you actually see the tank rolling by and they're actually knocking on people's doors, then don't bother opening doors. That's the one thing you don't want to do. If nothing, just either play dead, no pun intended, or I recommend fighting them off. Take their stuff. But like I said, usually a lot of them are carrying things that you really don't need right offhand. I mean, unless you're really expert in handling M16s, AK-47s, any kind of heavy-duty firing weapons that's automatic or semi-automatic, it's not really worth taking it. I mean, I'd rather go and use one shot to go get the job done than end up wasting an entire clip taking out just 2. So yeah, basically, this is what the whole Z Nation is about. It is to go and prepare you for the zombie attacks. And just for a small note, I actually recommend picking up a book. The Zombie Survival Guide, Max Brooks. This thing will actually go and provide a lot of good information and stuff. But of course I know a lot of people are saying, oh well, it's supposed to be out for a joke or whatever. No, not really. I actually think it is very informative. It actually does seem very logical and very helpful. Anyway, folks, just tune in next week. We'll go and talk a little bit more about some other ideas and ways that make sure you survive. Welcome to Z Nation.